may be picturesque, but it obscures the most significant differences between a train and a horse and buggy. To use the term an electronic town hall meeting similarly obscures the difference between an 18th century face-to-face gathering of citizens and a packaged televised pseudo-event. To use the term distance learning to refer to students and a teacher sending email messages to each other, well, it may have some value, but it obscures the fact that the act of reading a book is the best example of distance learning possible, because reading not only triumphs over the limitations of space and co-presence, but of time as well. And as for participatory democracy, we would really be hard-pressed to find any similarity whatever between politics as practiced by 5,000 homogeneous, well-educated, slave-holding Athenians and 250 million Americans doing plebiscites every week, and I think it's dangerous to allow language to lead us to believe otherwise. Anyway, here's the last question. You'll recognize that it's related to some of the others, but I give it a special status because of its importance. Question is this: what sort of people and institutions acquire special economic and political power because of technological change? Now, this question needs to be asked because the transformation of a technology into a medium, the exploitation of a technology, always results in a realignment of economic and political power. And I don't say this as a criticism of anyone, but as a fact. A new medium creates new jobs and makes old ones obsolete. A new medium gives prominence to certain kinds of skills and subordinates others. Ronald Reagan, for example, could not have been president were it not for television. I mean, this is a man who rarely spoke precisely and never eloquently. And yet he was called the great communicator. Now, why? Because he was magic on television. His televised image projected a sense of authenticity, intimacy, caring, tradition, and it didn't much matter if citizens agreed with what he said or even understood what he said. Television gives power to some while it deprives others, and that is true of every important medium. And this fact has always been understood by intelligent entrepreneurs who see opportunities emerging from the creation of new media. And that's why media entrepreneurs are the most radical force in culture. They are interested in maximizing profits of new media and do not usually give much thought to large-scale cultural effects. America's greatest radicals have always been our entrepreneurs. Morse, Bell, Edison, Sarnoff, Disney. These men created the 20th century, as Bill Gates and others are creating the 21st. I don't know if much can be done to moderate the cultural changes that media entrepreneurs will enforce, but citizens ought to know about what is happening and keep an attentive eye on such people. Well, there are many other questions I could suggest, but for now, I stick with these six. What is the problem that this technology will solve? Whose problem is it? What new problems will be created by solving an old one? What people and institutions will be most seriously harmed? what changes in language are occurring as a result of technological change, and what new sources of economic and political power will emerge. Now, my final point is that I hope you do not have the impression that the questions I've posed represent the outlook of a particular political ideology, as I see them, or at least intend them to be seen. These questions are not the questions of radicals, liberals, conservatives, or any other politics, including Luddites. The answers one gives may have an ideological cast, but the questions are those of anyone who wishes to begin understanding media, and I hope you'll take them as seriously as I do. Thank you very much. Now, I've been told we have about 10 minutes, or a couple more than that, for any questions you'd like to ask, or comments you'd like to make, or compliments you'd like to give me. And I'd be happy to, if I can. Do I see someone? Oh, is there a microphone here? Yes, it's way over. We can hear.
Yes, I'm calling your book, Using Yourself to Death. Public discourse and age of feel-good. Basically, electronic media. You say public discourse is all political, religious, and informational commercial forms of conversation. You said that electronic media has irreversibly changed the character of our symbolic environment. And you say that much of our conversation happens through symbols and metaphor. Could you speak more about how it affects our religious discourse?
Who are you? Well, I do have. In what spirit do you ask this question? I do have a chapter in the book you're holding. I think I call it Shuffle Off to Bethlehem. And try to make the point there that, speaking mostly about television there, the television tends to be hostile to the idea of religion. And in part, I mean, for a lot of reasons, one of them is that I think it encourages blasphemy. Some of the old-timers in the audience will remember when there was a Catholic priest on television, Bishop Sheen. You remember Bishop Sheen? And he was very handsome and very dramatic and charismatic. And except maybe for the Milton Berle show, his program may have been the most watched TV program of the time. He was taken off the air, not by TV, but by the church, because people began to love Bishop Sheen more than Jesus or more than God.